Hello everyone, how are you? Hey, I'm out in my backyard right now. I'm doing my go outside, nature walk. You can see my porch in the background. I have some chairs out there. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this camera around so that you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, ready? Okay, so this is my little fire pit here, and this is where I sit to enjoy the outside and the fire and all that. Looks like I have a little cleaning up to do back here. Don't mind the tarp and the rakes and stuff. Here's my kayaks over there. I go kayaking on that lake, Cunningham Falls State Park in Maryland. And you can notice some flowers are coming up here. I don't know what type of flowers those are, but they're coming up in my yard now. Here's my garden right here. It doesn't look too fantastic right now, but last year this was blooming like crazy. So maybe I could show you a video of that once I have it up and going again. You can see I was growing all kinds of stuff. Here, let's take a look. I was growing some dark green zucchini. We had some lettuce, butter crunch lettuce, and some peppers. We had all kinds of stuff. What else did we have here? Alaska mix. Those were just flowers. Let's see what else. Ooh, some squash. Had all kinds of stuff growing in this garden. But you notice some flowers are coming up over here. These look fantastic. These are wonderful, huh? I don't know what kind of flowers these are because I'm not too good with flowers. And hey, there's my Christmas tree. I should probably get it out of the flowers. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it in my trailer so I can go ahead and dump that somewhere, but fluff up those flowers a little bit. There we go. I'm glad I came out here and did this video. Okay, you can see I need to clean my flower beds. Here's my front yard. And there's the front of my house right there. You can hear my neighbor's dog, Bear, barking. There's my Jeep over there. Probably recognize that. All right, so in a moment, I'm going to go ahead and write about my experiences out in nature in my yard. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, there's some more flowers. Those are purple. I believe those violets. I don't know, they look really awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up over here. Okay, settle down, Bear. And I'll go ahead and do a read aloud for you. Okay, ready? Oh, wait, before I do my read aloud, I forgot to do some writing. So I'm going to write about what I just saw. And that was your assignment for today, is to go outside and enjoy yourself and then write about what you saw. So, I walked out in my backyard. I saw my, why don't I see if I can get a video of that, kayaks, and it reminded me to go kayaking this summer. I saw my garden and was reminded of all the wonderful vegetables I ate. The flowers are coming up and are yellow and purple. And you see, I can go a little farther with that, but I'm going to leave it at that. and go ahead and do your read aloud. So hopefully that's some inspiration for you to write yours. I don't know, you may have written it already, but if you haven't, maybe you can look at what I wrote, and that can inspire you to write what you're going to write about your day outside. So we're going to do a little read aloud. This one is called Crinkleroot's Guide to Knowing Animal Habitats by Jim Arnosky. I love these illustrations. I noticed that that's an old Jeep Willys. That's a Jeep Willys, and I have a Jeep too, so I can appreciate that. Hello, my name is Crinkleroot. I'm an explorer and a wildlife finder. I found so many wild creatures sharing the sweet earth. I lost count somewhere around 1 billion. You see the name of his boat is Musquash. Musquash. I see so many wild critters because I know where they all live. The natural places where wild animals live are called habitats. I'm going to visit lots of different wildlife habitats. You can come too. The 3 things wildlife need to survive are, you know this, I know you do, I can cover it up, and you'll still know what it is. Food, cover, right, or hiding places, and water. Find all 3, and you will find wildlife. The first place I want to show you is a watery place, or a wetland. A wetland is any place where water is near, at, or just above the surface of the ground. You may have a tiny wetland in your own backyard where the soil is always moist and the grass grows more lush. And there's some other notes down here about the different types of wetlands and stuff, but I'm not going to read that part because it's a pretty long book. The 3 most common wetlands are marshes, swamps, and bogs. A marsh is full of tall grasses, cattails, and reeds. Here, water is above ground in many spots. So these are Canada geese, a great blue heron. Those are beautiful birds. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those before, but I've seen them around here over at the Antietam Battlefield, about 10 minutes that way. A painted turtle, mergansers, red-winged blackbird, mallards, and a bullfrog. And anhinga, an egret, that's a bird, an otter, an alligator, a mud turtle, a water moccasin, which is a snake. I believe they're poisonous snakes, so you wouldn't want to run into that. A swamp is a place where many woody plants grow and water covers nearly all the land. A bog is a place where the land actually floats on water. And you can see a picture there of a moose. Where I used to live in Massachusetts, they had a moose up there, and I wasn't there to see it. But my next door neighbor saw a moose walk right down our road. And you think of a moose as a big animal? To me, if I was standing up, a moose's shoulders, its shoulder where the front of its leg meets its body, would be around where my eyes are. The shallow water of any wetland is a world of plants, rocks, sand, and sunken trees. It is a rich, weedy habitat for underwater wildlife. And you see there's pickerel and a snapping turtle, a water boatman, a crayfish, a mad tom, some minnows, some freshwater mussels, some damselfly larvae, a newt, a sunfish. I used to catch sunfish when I was a kid and I went fishing, and a dragonfly larva. And I know you can't see this over here, but a spider has attached it. Let me see if I pull it this way. It's kind of up here now. But a spider attached itself by a web to my book while I was reading. In a woodland, tree trunks, stems, and branches crisscross and overlap. It takes sharp eyes to pick out even the noisiest creatures, like hammering woodpeckers or chirping red squirrels. But make no mistake, any woodland is habitat for a variety of wildlife. For every animal you hear or see, there are many more hiding. So this is a white-breasted nuthatch, a red squirrel, and a great horned owl. That is one of my very favorite birds. I love owls. I believe it's considered a bird, although we call them owls. We don't really call them birds. In the woods, animals may be living high in the treetops, in middle branches or trunks, or on the woodland floor. See if you can find the wildlife living in this little patch of woods. I'll give you a hint. There are 24 in all, 27 if you count Walking Stick, Sassafras, and me. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and show you this real quick. I don't know if you could pause the video, but like see how many you could pick out as I run that across. I'll tell you a little story about walking sticks though. When I was a boy, I grew up next to a very large section of forest, and I was always in the woods, and I often saw walking sticks in the woods there, and they're so cool. They look like a stick, but sometimes you don't even see them until they start walking. Very interesting. Almost like kind of like a little twig, not really a stick, but like a little small twig, maybe about 4 to 6 inches long. Climb aboard my old jalopy. There are some interesting places I want to show you that are miles apart. Along the way, we're sure to spot some wildlife near the road. Here's some crows, a ring-necked pheasant, deer, woodchuck. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? That wasn't bad, huh? A rabbit. Rabbits, deer, woodchucks, and other normally shy animals come out to the roadsides to feed on lush green plants growing in the open sunlight. Roadsides are also hunting grounds for hungry crows, hawks, and kestrels. That's a red-tailed hawk. Our first stop is a farmer's cornfield. Cornfields provide an ever-changing habitat for wildlife. In the spring, gulls, swallows, and bluebirds feed on beetles, grubs, and earthworms unearthed by the farmer's plow. By midsummer, when the corn stalks have grown high enough to provide cover, small animals move in to nest and raise their young. At ripening time, the cornfield becomes a supermarket for raiding raccoons. By late fall, the field of corn has been freshly cut and harvested. The scattered kernels are a feast for migrating geese. Don't look now, my cat Luna is looking at me through the window. I'll put the camera on her in a second. We'll see if we can see her. From small hillside meadows to vast rolling plains, grasslands are wide open spaces where a wildlife can thrive. That's a prairie dog, a burrowing owl. Most small grassland animals are birds or burrowers or both. Ooh, a monarch butterfly. It's nice, I would have loved to maybe this spring have planted a monarch butterfly habitat. I don't know if we have one at our school, but that'll be something to look into. It gives them a place to rest because they actually migrate. They're migratory, and they need places where they can stop to rest and to get some food and stuff. When walking in grasslands, stop and check your clothes for ticks. Ticks are numerous in tall grass. You'll find more kinds of insects and spiders in grasslands than in any other habitat. So, at first, grassland looks void of anything but waving green stems, but take time to really look and you will discover something wonderful. Pronghorn antelope, bison. The largest inhabitants of grasslands are grazing animals, animals that eat grass to survive. They eat that for their nourishment, and they get some of their moisture out of there too. The badger is a grassland predator. They can dig down 12 feet to catch burrowing prey. The coyote and red fox are open country predators that often share the same hunting grounds. There's a spider, a vole, a grasshopper, and a woodchuck. Hey, it's another woodchuck. Wherever the road leads, you will find wildlife living there. Even the hottest, driest places can be home to animals. In the dry lands, wildlife find cover behind sagebrush and cactus, beneath rock ledges, or for some, simply by digging in and covering up with sand. Succulent plants provide both food and water, and for predators, there is prey. So there's a vulture. So if a lion or something goes in and kills an antelope, the vultures would just wait, and as soon as the lions leave and have had their fill, the vultures will move in, and that's how they eat. They depend on predators for their prey. For what they eat. Here is a sampling of the many wildlife species that inhabit dry lands, from sagebrush country to desert sands. That's a mule deer, an armadillo, a kangaroo rat, a diamondback rattlesnake. That's definitely a poisonous snake. If you see a snake, if you're out in the southwest of our country, and you see a snake with diamonds on its back, you want to steer clear of that. A jackrabbit, a roadrunner, beep beep, a collared lizard, a horned lizard, a broad-billed hummingbird. I don't know how many of you knew what I was talking about when I went beep beep, but there used to be a cartoon when I was a child called The Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote, this coyote would try to catch the roadrunner, Of course he never did. And here's an elf owl. Learn to recognize the different wildlife habitats from lowlands to mountains, wetlands to drylands. Don't be fooled by how small a place may be. Some wild critters get by in surprisingly little space, a bit of brush, a swampy puddle, a pile of rocks, a tiny woodlot, or a lone cactus. Well now, I told you we'd cover a lot of territory, and we did. I counted over 80 different wildlife species on our trip. How many did you count? I hope you enjoyed the journey. I did. So did Sassafras. She always likes riding in the old jalopy. We'll see you soon. Until then, remember, wherever you go, you share the world with the wildlife. And that couldn't be more true. You know, I think I'm going to take some of this time that I have at home to go outside as often as possible and to lift up rocks and to listen to the birds. I don't know if you can hear the birds singing in the background. I hear the crickets right now chirping, and if you just stop and listen or even smell, maybe you smell a skunk off in the distance, you really can tune into what's going on with wildlife. And I know I'm going to be spending time doing that. I hope you do too. All right, so that's about it for our read aloud today. That was Crinkleroot's Guide to Knowing Animal Habitats by Jim Arnosky. And you know what I'm realizing with these videos? Here, I'll let you in on a secret. You know what I'm realizing? I really miss all of you, and I miss talking to you. So even if you're not here with me, I still want to talk to you, and I want to hear your voices. That's the hard part about this. We're going to figure out a way to do that, I think. I think I have some ideas. A bunch of the teachers and I are going to talk tomorrow. We're going to figure out ways where we can be better teachers from home than we even are right now, which I think we're doing a pretty good job, all of us, you know, considering it's not the easiest circumstances. I see my cat Luna has left the building, but let's see if we can spy on my kids. They're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Let's see if we can see them in there. I don't know, there's a reflection on that window. We'll have to see if anything came out on the video. All right, talk to you soon, kids. Have a good night. Bye.